Newsmax is there for you.
Report Court is back in session. Today's case, a Connecticut woman is suing Chopped restaurants. She claims that she was served a salad that contained a piece of a human finger. And that's not all. She says she discovered the finger after biting into it.
Ugh. Yeah, we're all feeling it. Allison Cozy alleges it happened in April of this year at the restaurant's Mount Kisco location in New York. Again, this would be the Chopped restaurant. We're taking the case up with National Report Court today with
Might
Aaron.
ruin your lunch.
Yeah, don't eat yet until this gets done. Aaron Elmore, Ken Belkin. Ken's a criminal defense attorney. Aaron's an attorney as well. For the purposes of the segment, Aaron, if you could represent the plaintiff, Ms. Cozy, and her misinformed lunch there. And Ken, if you could represent Chopped restaurants. So according to the lawsuit, a manager had chopped off part of their finger earlier in the day while preparing arugula. The manager left to seek medical care, but, quote, the contaminated arugula was left on the service line. It was served to customers. Aaron, if this is true, remember the allegation of the lawsuit here. It seems like a strong case. USA Today here again. You can see a piece of the statement from the lawsuit. Aaron, I'll let you run with it.
I don't mean to make a joke, but this is definitely not finger looking good. This is a products liability civil torts case about the negligent manufacturing, production, and handling of food. These cases have been around since the early 1900s, and one of my first memories of law school was the case Pillars versus R.J. Reynolds. A man found a toe in his chewing tobacco and got ptomaine poisoning, and in this case, they basically said the manufacturer of a product can be held liable to the consumer for the negligent production and handling of these kinds of products. So if the facts are true, this is pretty open and shut. I guess the only element would be proving those damages, but I'm sure there's some emotional damages, maybe physical damages, and this is a pretty strong case for my client.
Yeah, never going back to that restaurant again would be for starters. Again, depending on how this actually plays out. Ken, as you can imagine, no comment yet from the restaurant group Chopped, but what's the response here? What's the defense?
Yeah, oy vey. Number one, I think I've eaten at that Chopped, so that's a little disturbing for me. But that being said, pretty disgusting. She should not have to pay for that salad. But where are the damages here? What really happened to her? Is she going to be in therapy for 5 years because you chewed on a finger for 3 seconds?
And really quick, if you wanted to respond to that.
Yeah, I did touch on the damages. We don't know whether she got some sort of infection or poisoning, or she has some need for therapy, given the fact that it was extremely traumatic. So I think it's going to really come down to what her injuries and harm were in this instance. It's certainly not something to be taken lightly. If I were eating a salad and found a finger, that's not exactly the protein I was looking for.
No doubt about that. We'll wait and see, of course, what's presented in court. But for now, attorneys stand by. Wanted to welcome back in Rick Santorum. He's been listening in. This is, I know, right ahead of your lunchtime.
For this case.
We just had to get your thoughts. Where do you land on this case?
Clearly, Chopped is liable for their behavior and should be found liable if there's a suit. I do agree that the damages are quite speculative at this point. I can't imagine. I mean, it's a horrible thing to happen, but I can't imagine it's such a traumatic experience that's going to cause any kind of real mental health issues. So I would grant the decision for the plaintiff, but I think the damages would be fairly minor.
Okay, I guess that depends. If you're scarred for life.
Or what kind of salad you order next. The cannibalism salad does not look good.
Irony that this place is called Chopped.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Well, you get what you pay for.
There we go. They need a rebrand after this one. Great conversation, great arguments on both sides. Aaron, Ken, and Rick Santorum, thank you so much for joining us. But that National Report Court is adjourned.